Reid is director and founder of the Metamorphosis Group, a company that can unlock your shop's potential through the expertise of visual merchandising. Please welcome Reid from Metamorphosis.
I'm from a company called Metamorphosis, and we specialise in visual merchandising, brand delivery and retail performance improvement. And I've got a big challenge today, that is that I've got to squeeze 10 years, 20 years of knowledge into 15 minutes. And hopefully I will keep you awake for that long, so we move on. I grew up in retail, so my background literally was, I grew up, if anyone knows, a company called Millets. My dad was a window dresser, and he built me my first shop when I was about 3. It was out of cardboard and I sold sweets, but nevertheless it was a retail experience. And from that point, I guess I just got sucked into the world of wanting to understand why shops worked. He actually ended up bringing IKEA to England. So by the time I was 14, 15, I sat around many a dinner party table with what I thought at the time were very boring old men. And now I realise that I learned quite a lot. And I set up Metamorphosis 10 years ago when I really saw that independent retailers didn't have access to a knowledge that I knew was really important. So ironic for someone that likes to speak as much as I do, but the reason that visual merchandising attracts me is that actually 76% of shoppers don't talk to sales assistants when they're shopping. Now I know that that is different from store to store, and but this is true. The British, we don't like to talk. So secret selling, silent selling, visual merchandising is now becoming a fundamental retail skill and need, something that you guys need to understand how to do, because we are being pre-programmed as to how we are shopping, be it online or in different stores. Visual merchandising is far bigger than just making products sell. It does touch on store design, it touches on communication, point of sale, atmospherics, how I feel when I'm within your store. So what I'm going to do today is hopefully take you through 10 steps of speedy 10 steps to visual retail success. And what I'm hoping for you to start to see is that the bigger subject of visual merchandising, you could use very small things to make a massive difference to your business, taking your shopping experience to new heights, converting more of your visitors into shoppers, but more importantly, encouraging the people that you have in your stores that are your customers, encouraging them to spend more money with you. So, like anything in retail, the most important thing is that we remember that it's all about the customer. And ironically, one thing like this is sometimes that we sometimes forget. We have a store and we start to get comfortable and start to think about how we feel as opposed to how it feels to be a customer in their shoes within your business. And I'm sure that we're all aware that the customer has changed dramatically over the last 4 or 5 years. We are highly impatient. We're used to having amazing experiences now, and with those experiences, we are comparing you against incredible things, be it a glass of wine in a lovely hotel, an amazing flight. Thanks to a whole load of greedy bankers and supermarkets, we don't trust as much as we used to, so customer loyalty is a little bit of a thing of the past. But most importantly, and the thing that we've really seen over the last year or two, is that actually we are all turning into experts, and there is a chance that I could walk into your business and know more about your products than you do, and that is frightening. So I'm not here to tell you what you know. What I wanted to do is to try and take your mind in a different dimension, and that is, as a visual merchandiser, you not only need to think about your customer, but also what affects your customer's shopping experience with you. So I would love someone to hazard a guess as to what these statistics stand for. So women plus female companion, 8 minutes, 15 seconds. Women plus happy child, 7 minutes, 19 seconds. Women alone, 5 minutes, 2 seconds. Women with a man, 4 minutes, 41 seconds. And a woman with an unhappy child, 2 minutes and 50 seconds. Thank you. I was saved, so it is. It's the duration in which people spend with you. And what I would say is this, having grown up in an experience whereby Inver Kamprad, who's the guy that brought IKEA to the world, he was obsessed and is obsessed with the customer, and he taught me from a very young age about a man called Paco Underhill who studies retail anthropology. And what he would say is the biggest tool you could ever have in retail is a chair. Because what you need to not only think about is the shopper that you have in front of you, but the power of influence that stands around them. Because you could be missing a huge opportunity in terms of the sale. So with the mindset of this customer, the first thing I'd like you to start to think about is how are you going to form a connection with me as a customer? So it used to be that I'd come into a store and buy products, and then we went through this phase where actually we were more inclined to think about what shop or store could offer me a lifestyle solution. But now we want even more than that. We want to form a connection with you. And the interesting thing is that online retailers are incredibly good at that because they have to connect with someone that they have never met and maybe will never meet ever in their lives. So what they do wholeheartedly on their websites, they will say, this is who I am, this is what I believe in, this is why I choose the products that I do. And then when it translates into bricks and mortar stores, so this example that you're seeing now is a business called India Coco, and they're a British children's wear retailer. The first thing that they did in a pop-up environment were to put their values behind the till point, because they know how important it is to resonate with me as a customer. So if I believe in what they believe in, we'll become friends, as you would in any situation. And if you look at the biggest successes in terms of supermarkets last Christmas, being Waitrose and Sainsbury's, what you'll start to see as customers is that when we trust you, we will shop with you. And in order for me to trust you, I need to really, really, really understand why and who and how you are. And once you form that connection with me, you need to keep this connection alive. And this is kind of what Shop Talk is about, the Institute. If you look into their business model, this is what they're about. It's how actually when a store stands still, and what we've got are parking challenges, local challenges, we've got convenience, the fact that actually we can go into a supermarket now and buy everything that we need. How are you going to get me off of my sofa and into your stores? This example is a lovely bookshop in Alfriston in Sussex, and Much Ado About Books. 10 years ago, this guy arrived from America and he said, I'm going to open a bookshop like no other, like the Willy Wonka of books. And I love that statement of grandeur. And actually, when you go there, it's quite humble. It's a modest little bookshop. But the magical thing about it is actually the second floor to it is a lounge. And the lounge is available for friends of Much Ado. And what they do with friends is they actively encourage people to be able to come into the store, write a to-do list or a shopping list or a novel, if anyone's that brave, and grab a cup of tea. There's organic teas, lovely coffees on the side. And part of this friendship program is that actually someone will sit down with you and do a bespoke reading list for you. And you'll be invited to book signings and launches. And it's an activity of space whereby they realise that in giving space to allow people to sit down and interact with their products is priceless. So I would love you to start to think about your stores as not only a shop environment, but somewhere where I would love to come and spend some time with you. So something we're really passionate about is windows. And step 3 is about creating winning windows. And it's interesting, I was at a conference in Ludlow a few months ago, and it was Retail Regeneration Programme, and I went down through a town which was very dead and very closed into a vibrant Tesco car park towards a brewery that we were all meeting. And it just got me thinking that actually, in terms of windows, we can make them look pretty, but do they say what it is that you offer me when you are shut? So in terms of your windows, they are a 24/7 billboard. And very often you go to stores and you look at thoroughly fabulous windows, but you wouldn't have a clue as to what it is they're trying to tell me. So what I would say is that when you go back, have a little look at your windows, look to see if your platform's working. Are they at the right height? Can I physically see products in there? Are the products that you're choosing really communicating the best of what you have to offer me? And is it right for this time of year, this moment? But most importantly, when you are shut, are you telling me how I can connect with you? The window that you see here is a client of ours, it's Biscuiteers, and what they are fabulously brilliant at is baking. They create biscuits, they're a gift company. And what I would also urge you to do is really show your specialism, because the window that you can see that's as big as that person or bigger is actually made out of gingerbread. So what they're saying is not only do we bake, but we bake the biggest and the best, better than anyone else. So really, really start to think about how you can convey the best of what you do, your specialism. So step 4 is about designing stores that work, and it's interesting because designing a store takes a certain set of skills. It's spatial awareness, colour, points of emphasis, gradation, harmony. Yet, when a lot of stores open, they just don't work. And the reason being is that the designer forgot to think like a customer. And as customers, we all share same kind of behaviours. We all, 74% of sales come from eyeline. Eyeline is byline. When we walk into stores, most of us veer to the left because we drive on the left. In the US, we go to the right. Most of us are right-handed, so if we go to pick something up, the common grain is that it will be with our right hand. We hate opening doors. Not many of us tackle the stairs. So if you take all of these factors and these points, what you're starting to see is that actually how you could improve your store design. Apple are genius at this. They know full well that when we walk into a store, if they can get their products at a height that we can comfortably manoeuvre, they've got their service points being at the furthest part of the store. All of these things are tapping in to try and make us use their space more effectively. Natural daylight is used, so we stay in there longer. Now, what I'm not doing is suggesting that you all go back and create mini Apple stores, as much as we may all like. But what I am urging you to do is perhaps have a little look at how people are shopping your environment and just stand back and observe. See how they're walking through the space. Have you got good accessibility? Are there any barriers? Are there any doors that are blocking or heights, fixture heights that just aren't working? And I promise you, small changes can make a massive impact. We made one tweak at Discover Greenwich, which is a museum here in London, and all we did was move, and it sounds very simple, a table out just so a sight line to the retail space was improved, and they saw a 64% in conversion. So small steps can make massive leaps. Step 5 is to start to think about people when they are run shopping as opposed to fun shopping. So in step 2, we talked about inviting people into a lounge environment and asking them to spend a bit of time with us. But we also need to accommodate us when we are in a rush. And we all know that this is when we've got limited time, we've got a parking meter or something that's infuriating, we're running into a store, and these customers appear rude, and they don't want you to talk to them, they don't want you to help them, they want to be able to serve themselves. So as retailers, not only do you need to make me enjoy myself if I've got the time to, but also you need to have a streamlined shopping experience so that I can run into your store and understand your product offer and be able to shop myself with ease. So this means thinking about how you zone your products so they're easily understood, and how effectively you place those zones next to other zones so they start to make sense. What children's fashion retailers are very good at, and you'll see a clip of an example just here in the left-hand corner, is that actually they create mini capsule wardrobes based on age. And in retail, when it comes to gift or home, what you can do is do this with looks and feels, or pull together products in cross-merchandised tables whereby you are suggesting a collection of things, how they work together. In order to do this, it's really clever because all you're doing actually is encouraging people to spend quickly and to spend more money quickly. So step 5 is about thinking about people when they're in a rush. So step 6 is let me touch. And one thing that I'm always really amazed at is when you walk past an Apple store and you see how many people are in there actively wanting to spend time there, playing with all the shiny machines. And then you go past a shop like T-Mobile or Currys, and you cannot believe that those people have not realised the harm that they are doing in their businesses by locking away electronical goods and having dummy models of mobile phones. A concept that I think is well worth visiting, and if you're in London for any amount of time, this is on Elizabeth Street, just at the back of Victoria, is Joe Malone's new shop, Joe Loves. And what I love about the concept is actually what Joe has chosen to do is she's created an environment whereby it's designed around a cocktail bar. So what Joe would say is that her best ideas come when she's sat at a bar, don't they all? And I think with that in mind, what she's done is the whole store design is a beautiful cocktail bar by which the team get behind the bar to shake you up a fragrance cocktail. They warn you not to drink them, which is something else I think is thoroughly lovely and fun. But the brilliant thing about it is not only does it get the theatre and dynamism, it gives the team something to be proud of and excited about and something to do. So it's less about having to talk to a customer and more about engaging about a shared passion, a product. And it actively makes me touch and feel and interact again with the product, which is priceless. And I think what you'll see with Jo Malone and Apple, what they are doing is they have changed the script of how they have chosen to retail. Neither one of them said we're going to open up a technology shop like someone else, a beauty bar like someone else. What they said is that we are going to look to sociology, economics, theatre, and we are going to create a shopping experience that is like no other, something that's not already out there. So what I would really, really love to encourage you to do is not to look at retailers that are selling the same products at you, to look to different elements whereby you can gain inspiration to completely shake it up and do things in a completely different way. Again, it's an Apple example, but they're incredibly good at this. In terms of step 7, it's all about function, value. And it's interesting with gift products. Very often what you'll find is when you come here and you choose these amazing products and you take them back to the store, what is the chance that someone in your store will come in and think, what on the earth is this? And it's the power of visual merchandising and communication that can tell the story of what it is. And very many products, 92% of food products actually in supermarkets fail. And the reason being is because we've never tasted them. And if we're not familiar with the brand, then we wouldn't know them. So as retailers, what you need to do is you need to start to think about how you can visually communicate messages. If it's a bottle stopper, put the bottle in a bottle stopper in a bottle, so you start to show not only the function of something, but also the value of it. And very often you'll find that a product, i.e. this example, has a multitude of functions that actually are really appealing to a customer. So in terms of this, the MacBook Air, the function of it and the value of it is the fact that it's so light. And for anyone that carries a laptop around with them, we all share shoulder injuries, I'm sure. The magical thing about this is actually saying that it doesn't matter what we're made of, it doesn't matter, all the customer cares about is the fact that this thing is so light. So therefore, in being so light, for anyone that's spent as much money on osteopathy or however it would be, this £2,000 would be well worth it. So I want you to start to think function and value. And when you go back to your stores, have a look at some of your worst sellers and tell me honestly if it is clear as to what those products are actually for. Step 8 is about telling me a story, and there was a brilliant Harvard professor that came forward and said that businesses in 2014 that fail to tell the story will die. So dramatic and so true, because a story helps me connect. It helps me connect with you and it helps me connect with products. And what you have done today in going round, you have connected with products because you may have met the designer or you may have fallen in love with where that came from, the product, or what it was made of. And then you'll go back and you'll put those products in your stores, and without you telling a store member that might be selling it on your behalf, or without you putting a piece of communication, or without you being there to convey that message will be lost. And in failing to tell the story, you're failing to sell. So this is a lovely example. This is a store in Pimlico. It's called Jam, and they sell Dutch paint. And what I love about this is that not only are they using clogs, which is obviously a nod to Dutch, and they've painted them in all the fabulous colours that the paint is available in. It's also clever on 2 levels. One is that a clog is 3-dimensional because they're actually showing the paint in 3 different lights, which is really important when you buy paint, as we all know. It changes as soon as you get it home. And the other thing is that actually in terms of this paint manufacturer or paint producer, it's not the cheapest paint. So on the point of sale that sets with it, it actually says there's nothing more expensive than cheap paint. And I think that very often you can use point of sale, you can use stories to help you to justify something that is a little bit, it might be a higher price point, but guess what? It's some of the best. And in doing something like this will sell, even if you're there or not. And I think the more that you can do in your stores, if you can imagine if you took yourselves out, your store needs to be selling without you being there. Step 9 is about keeping it moving, as I'm trying to with this. How many seconds have I got left? So we've got this brilliant store called Tiger. I don't know if anyone's ever come across it yet. Despite the name, they're quite small in the UK. I think they've got about 17 stores. And the magical thing about Tiger is actually what they do is they keep things moving. It's such a rapid space, so every single day you will go in there. Now, they're choosing city locations, and I'm not saying that you guys need to move your stuff around as furiously as these, but the clever thing with them is that, like the generation game, every time I go in there, I see something new. And I think what I would really urge you to do is to think about your windows and a couple of key areas, be it the internal window, as soon as I walk in, the space that I see, and maybe 2 or 3 places where there's high footfall passing past them, and just commit to making a change in that space at least every 4 to 6 weeks, so that every single time I come in, you're keeping me interested. And don't feel like it always has to be new product. Because just because you've had it on a bottom shelf or it could have even been in your stock room for years, as a customer I will not know that. We could walk around this exhibition every day for 5 days and still see something new. So the important thing is that you just commit to making changes and make sure that you are refreshing and changing your store and remembering how much you love each and every product and giving them a place to shine. And then lastly, in terms of step 10, it's interesting because I think 2014 has got to be the year where we start to pull it all together and have to commit to a level of consistency that we've never seen before. Because guess what? We always spot the flaw, don't we? And I think in terms of customers, what you're showing me in your windows should be a completely reflection of what is going on inside your business. Because if it's not, I won't trust you. It's entrapment. Has anyone ever seen a fabulous window and then got inside and thought, God, I'm not even in the right place? In terms of your website and the tone of voice that you use, I want it to be the same as the member of staff that I'm chatting to and the point of sale that are in your stores. And the multi-channel retailer, it is one of the future. But what I would say is this, in terms of the 10 steps to visual retail success, I firmly believe, I'm an avid believer, that this kind of connection and windows and experience can only happen with a bricks and mortar retailer. So with your highly curated product range that you've chosen from here today and the mindfulness that you have to really understand me as a customer inside out, I hope that you will use these 10 steps and review your business and look at the opportunity that you have, because I promise you this, small changes, especially with visual retail, can make a massive impact to your bottom line. So as a last thing, I mean, definitely in terms of next steps, we have a retail school that's based in London, and we teach and train visual merchandising, window dressing and space planning. And as part of that today, there's some flyers dotted around, but if anyone wants to hand in a business card, then we're doing a prize draw. So whoever the prize draw winner is gets a free day to the retail school. You can definitely use this as inspiration. We're on Pinterest, Twitter and Facebook. And I'm around to answer any questions if anyone is as brave. So thank you.